In this lecture, we are going to make a completely constrained geometry of example 4. While doing so, we are going to discuss about some constraining techniques. Here you can see this is the example 4 drawing for which we are going to generate a completely constrained geometry in Creo. You can see this is example 4 drawing for which we are going to generate a completely constrained sketch. As I had already told you that we will be creating few profiles and constraining it. Then again we'll go for few profiles. So what will happen is the criticality of your constraining will decrease. It will not be complex. It will be very simple if you go for constraining only maybe this bottom area, and then after you constrain it completely, then we will go for this top area. Let us do it and see what is the method. First we are going to create this profile, and then we are going to create this entire segment. Let us see. Here you can see I am inside the sketcher interface of a new file. As the sketch that we are going to make is symmetrical about this vertical axis, that is, this side is exactly the mirror image of this side. So we can keep our axis, which is the vertical axis, exactly in the middle. Let us see how to keep it. First we will create a rough sketch. I'll select here and create a vertical line, another horizontal line, a vertical line here, and another horizontal line. We'll move down and we'll click somewhere here. Again we'll move this side, we'll move up, a horizontal line. You can see here I am preventing the auto constraints. You can also prevent it. It is better. Once you get experience with operating Creo, you can go for creating these auto constraints. I'll click here. Press on the escape key to exit from the command. You can see I have kept this sketch symmetric to this vertical axis. Now let us give the constraints. First constraint that I am going to give is relation with this base and this axis. So we'll go for coincident. You can see this is coincident. Click on coincident constraint. Select this line and this axis. Now I will show you a very good constraint which can be used for symmetrical figures, which is called symmetry. Here this is the symmetry constraint. Now this symmetric constraint, when you click, you have to select first the center line about which you are going to create symmetric points. I'll select this vertical axis, and about this axis, this point and this point I want to create symmetrical. And you can see the distance between this line to this axis is now equal between this line and this axis. So they have become symmetrical. Now again this symmetrical constraint will select this vertical axis, this point and this point. You can see. Again we'll take this symmetrical constraint, select this vertical axis, this point and this point. Press on the escape key to exit from the command. Now if I move this, it is symmetrical. So the left side and right side are equally moving. If you move this, it's very useful. Now let us go for giving the dimensions. it will be very easy for you to give the dimensions now. Here if you see, this is 20, this is 20 and this is also 20. Let us give those dimensions. Double click on this dimension. This is 20. Immediately select it and lock. This dimension is also 20. When you give this dimension, select it and lock it. Now, if you see here, this profile has deformed. So you can just move it and make it as you want. You can see. Now let us give the vertical dimension so that the figure will look good. As this point is symmetric to this point about this axis, automatically this line has been given a dimension of 20. So you need not give a dimension to this line. That is the power of symmetricity. Now, let us see the drawing here. This dimension is 10 mm. This dimension is also 10 mm and this entire thing is 25. Let us give that. This dimension is 10 mm. Immediately select and lock. Again, this dimension is also 10. Select it and lock. Select this 10 mm and lock. Let us move it a bit. And here, this dimension is also 10 mm. Select and lock it. Already it is locked. Now, if you come here, these two dimensions are left out. If you see here, this was 10 mm that we have given. From here, this height is 25 mm. So, double click on this dimension and this is 25. We can take equal constraint between this line and this line. Press on the escape key to exit from the command. Also select this dimension and lock it. You can see. Now let us go for line and create the other lines that we actually want. And we will constrain it. We'll select this point, create a horizontal line, then a vertical line something like this, angular line, another horizontal line. You should prevent this auto constraints. You can see, this is auto constraint. We don't want it. Click when nothing is displayed. Now nothing is displayed, so we will click here. Click and we'll click somewhere, maybe here, and we'll join. You can see a completely closed boundary has been formed. Now the very first constraint that I'm going to create now is I want to create this line as horizontal. So we'll click on this horizontal constraint and select this line. Now let us give the symmetry constraint so that we need to create very less dimensional constraints. So for that, we'll take this symmetry constraint, which is this icon. Click on symmetry constraint. We'll select this axis, which is the vertical axis, and about that vertical axis, I want to create a symmetry relation between this point and this point. Again, we'll take this line, or so to say the axis, and I want to create a symmetry constraint between this point and this point. Press on the escape key to exit from the command. Now let us give the dimensions. Here you can see this is 10 mm and automatically this 10 mm will be given because we have created the figure symmetric. This is 20 mm, the distance from this line to this line. Let us give these dimensions. Double click on this dimension. This is 10 mm. You can see automatically this line length has been given. Select this and lock this dimension. Now we'll take dimension between this line and this line which is 20. Now what it is saying is, this dimension is over constraint geometry because, let me undo this, because here already I have given symmetric to these 2 points, and this we have given dimensions here, which is 20 mm here and 20 mm here. So 20, 20 and this is 20, 60 mm. Automatically this 10 mm from both sides, as this is symmetric, is getting subtracted, and this dimension is being given, which is 40 mm. And when I give this is 10, automatically this has been taken as 10 due to symmetricity. So this dimension has been calculated as 40, which is from here to here, minus 10 plus 10. So this is 20 mm. So if you give 20 again, then it is a over constraint geometry. So we need not give the dimension. Let us give for the other dimensions. Here this is 10 mm. Again, the height from this point to this point is 10 mm. The distance between this point and the horizontal line is 10. This is 10. From here to here, this is 5 mm, which is both sides. So let us give this dimension to make it constraint. Here, this dimension is given as 10. This dimension is given as 10. Let us select it and lock so that it doesn't move. Now we'll take dimension between this point and this vertical, 10 mm. Press on the escape key to exit from the command, and you can see we have completed a completely constrained geometry of example 4. In the next lecture, we are going to start creating circles.